Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with some more Hearthstone. In today's deck spotlight, we'll be taking a look at the Frost Giants deck. This is a variant of Rekful's Innkeeper Invitational Mage deck. This particular deck list posted up on Hearthstone by Renar, who is 9th on the European ladder. We've got some card draw through Novice Engineer and Loot Hoarder, fueling your Molten Giant, some stall abilities like Blizzard and Frost Nova, and then a big wombo combo in Alexstrasza plus Pyroblast. Now with the general premise out of the way, let's take a look at the deck in action. So I know what you're thinking. You hear wombo combo Alexstrasza plus Pyroblast. Is this a super gimmicky deck? Is it a one-trick pony? No, it's actually very reliable and very consistent. At its core, this is a control deck. You're focusing on controlling the board, controlling your opponent, buying yourself time for the late game. There's also great combos with Molten Giant and Mountain Giant, and then it's a mage deck with very strong direct damage through Pyroblast and Fireball. It's all around a very, very good deck. Through playtesting, it's been incredibly successful for me. And as you can see here, we're playing against a Warlock. It looks like it is going to be an aggro Warlock deck. So that means I'm going to be really focused on controlling the board, dealing damage across the board. Cone of Cold will be invaluable here. I'm actually very excited that we have that. Gonna drop the Loot Hoarder for now. Or do I just, yeah, let me drop the Loot Hoarder for now. This will actually be really good. If he follows up with say a 2 health minion and gets pumped up to 3 health, I can Cone of Cold that guy. I can Cone of Cold whatever he plays. It's gonna kill that thing. And then, oh, is he really? Wow. Are you serious? What? I don't know why. I am not sure. Well, I guess, yeah, okay, that makes sense, because he didn't want me to kill his dragon. And he figures I could have, I don't know what he figures actually. I don't know, I don't think that was that great of a play. All right, for us right now though, we can't directly target this thing. We can side target it with Cone of Cold or something like a Blizzard would do well. For now, I'm thinking actually just draw some cards. Yeah, we could also just ice block, but I'm gonna just draw some cards for now. There's our Alexstrasza, very nice, and there is a Mountain Giant. So filling up our hand becomes excellent, of course, with that Mountain Giant. Can't play it next turn, this will be down to 5, but we'll only have 4 crystals, but the turn after we'll be able to throw him in play. And I'm not gonna play anything. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Something that you can go for in this deck is try to get yourself a little bit low so that you can play the Molten Giants, and then you rely on Ice Barrier and Ice Block to buy you the time to finish off your opponent. And actually, I'm thinking that's exactly what we're gonna go for. So I'm not gonna Ice Barrier because then that would it would make the Molten Giant take longer to come into play. So for right now, I'm trying to think. I think we'll just take this damage, to be honest with you. And then I could also freeze. Why don't we freeze actually? Cone of Cold. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cone of Cold here.
Job's done.
Yeah, we'll do that. Just delay him a little bit. I mean, you know, we're gonna take this damage eventually. He's playing an aggro Warlock deck, so. But I like to delay it just to get some of my, that's not too bad actually. I can freeze this guy and then kill that thing if I so desire. Or I could let the damage go through in an upcoming turn. I can also just play the Mountain Giant and sort of force him to make a decision if he wants to attack into it, you know what I mean? Which he probably will, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then when he throws stuff down, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna force him to make the decision if he wants to throw away his creatures. He doesn't have direct damage to kill. He doesn't have, he can't siphon soul right now. Has he used his coin? Yes, he has. So he can't siphon soul right now because that costs 6. I think it's assassinate 5, siphon soul is 6. I remember the difference because siphon soul also has the life gain, so it's just that extra 1 cost. Because, you know, it's a killer creature and then it's got the gain life, so it's better, you know. It's just a straight, I have strange ways of remembering things. So what I'm thinking is that if he does end up throwing all his creatures at this guy, I can Cone of Cold to kill off his 2 small dudes. And it looks like that's exactly what he's gonna do. All of them, or does he have direct damage through a Soulfire for it? He must have, Okay, there we go. That's actually very good for me. Again, you have to keep in mind, we don't mind losing the giant if it means an advantage, and we have an advantage there. He used the Soulfire, which forced him to discard a card. He's lost life because of life tap. We're gonna be able to clear these 3 creatures this turn with Cone of Cold. That's very good. I'm actually quite happy. I'm quite happy with how that turn played out and that decision to play him. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now is, it seems to me that the Cone of Cold will be the best option. Before we play it though, just in case, I have other options that I'd like to do. We're gonna play the Novice Engineer. Let's see what we draw into. So we've got the Flamestrike. I can hold off on playing my damage so that I can Flamestrike the turn after. And then I'll still have the Cone of Cold for a future turn. And that is actually a good idea. I'm gonna do that. So we're just gonna use this turn to play our Ice Block, which will obviously be used in the future. Why Ice Block over Ice Barrier? Because I want to lose life so that I can play the Molten Giant. That's the game plan. And I've still got all these options in my hand. I've got all these things to deal with this board. Really hoping he plays a couple more creatures this turn. I feel like he probably will, and then we'll be able to Flamestrike to clear it. Or though, if he's thinking, he could just play nothing this turn because he's probably assuming that I have some sort of board clearing. So we might actually be seeing him do that right here, which would be a smart play for him. All right, there's creatures, fantastic. Play another one, go ahead. No? Okay, that's fine too. And Flamestrike, or the Mountain Giant. Now, well, we don't need a giant right now. Let's go with the Flamestrike. Am I sure? Yeah. So, that is good.
Oh, if you're sure.
Lost a couple of life from the Leper Gnome. All right, we've got our giant. Now I'm going to be playing the Ice Barrier. And I'm going to wait off on focusing on damaging him until after we play Alexstrasza. So the giants don't need to come and play anytime immediately.
I'll get right on it.
Alright, looks like we might actually have to... no, we can just go with the Ice Barrier right now. And there's a Blizzard as well, and his hand's pretty low, so a Blizzard right now actually wouldn't be that bad. Can also force him to make a decision by playing the Mountain Giant right now. Yeah, and then we can Alexstrasza next turn and hit him right in the face.
What to do?
And I'm also going to go with the Ice Barrier. Is that what I want to do? Or do I want to freeze his creatures? How's about I freeze his creatures? I like that. We're gonna freeze his creatures. So now he can't attack into this thing. If he's got Siphon Soul, he can kill it. Then he's got nothing left for the turn pretty much because he'll be at 2 crystals. He's pulling for it right now. Life tapping, seeing if he draws into it. Or maybe he had it and he just wanted to see what else he could get. No, he's gonna Shatter Sun Cleric here, okay. That's okay. So, what do we do this turn? Alexstrasza hit him in the face. We've got the thing to guarantee we don't die. And we put him pretty low. I'm also thinking of just going with a Blizzard. Well, he can't kill us next turn, so we're gonna go Alexstrasza. And then we're gonna hit him in the face. Now, look at that, he's at 8. He's at 7, he's got 2 8/8s to deal with. Even if he could kill us this turn, the Ice Block saves us. This deck is so consistent because of the card draw. Most of my games play out somewhere along these lines. You can really rely on your cards when you've got so much card draw in your deck. So there's that, plus a Shadow Bolt. He could definitely kill both my things this turn, but we would clear his board at the same time. And now he's at 7. So now all we need is to draw into a Pyroblast, or even a Fireball would work wonders for us. Fireball plus a Fire Blast is gonna finish him off. Okay, so it looks like he's gonna finish this off now. He's got both those creatures attacking straight into it, but at this point, what?
Well played.
He could have killed this. Oh, he's probably just assuming that I have a Pyroblast. Even though he could have killed my creature this turn, fairly confident in saying that we had this game. So there you go. Wasn't an ideal way to finish that off for himself, but That was a pretty good victory, I would say. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list. I have to say, this is actually probably one of the decks that I've enjoyed playing the most within recent memory. It's just a very fun deck to play. It's fun because it's very control focused and it's very consistent, and I love reliability when it comes to card games. All right, so we got some control here in the Frost Nova, freezing the board, also control in Frostbolt, as well as some nice damage, using that to pick off some early game creatures that can otherwise be hard to deal with, or just pushing through extra damage to your opponent, stopping them from weapon attacks with the freeze, stuff like that. Only plus spell power in this deck is the Bloodmage Thalnos. You may think, why don't you have more? We're replacing things like a Zordrake and other potential spell power enhancements to focus on the control and on the reliability. Doomsayer was added to the most recent deck list of this by Renar, and I think it's actually not a bad play because especially there's so many aggro decks in the game right now, in the metagame. You drop a Doomsayer and follow it up with a Frost Nova, a lot of times you're guaranteeing to clear the board. It works against most opponents. Obviously target removal, silence, stuff like that will deal with the Doomsayer, but if you're dealing with a heavy aggro deck, a lot of times they don't have all those tools available. We get the Loot Hoarder and the Novice Engineer. This is reliability as well as the Arcane Intellect. The card draw, reliability, and filtering out your deck. Very, very good. Cone of Cold for the control. Ice Barrier, a lot of times you're waiting until you're around 15 health to use this. If you use it too early, it just offsets your ability to play Molten Giant. So you're holding off on playing this until you get a little bit low, allowing you to more easily play Molten Giant. Ice Block buys you an extra turn, and most of the time that means victory, especially because of all the fast damage that this deck can do. I've got the Fireballs, very nice damage. Blizzard for board control. Flamestrike, a single one of these for board control. Even with just one of them, because of all the card draw in this deck, I'm getting it most games. Pyroblast as an amazing finisher. Alexstrasza for the Wombo combo. Don't even worry about dealing damage to your opponent. Drop the Alexstrasza there at 15. They're playing against a mage, they're scared. And then our two big beefy giants. Mountain Giant because we're drawing so many cards, very easy to play early most games. And Molten Giant because we're relying on Ice Barrier and Ice Block to not die, getting low, easily playing this. This deck is really good. It's an expensive deck. This is a super expensive deck. I'm actually gonna start focusing on some cheaper decks as well, but I couldn't not show this to you because it's very good and it's a lot of fun. All right, so this was the deck spotlight. We're gonna be following this up with a gameplay video within the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. I'll be playing a handful of games. I expect it to perform very well because my personal playtesting, it's done well itself. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.